Hi, I'm Calissa Hall, and I teach Spanish. This strategy assignment is for fourth year Spanish. It's typically, obviously, for 12th graders. It's a non-AP course, and at times it's a class that can be for concurrent credit, concurrent college credit. So the topic I chose was the present subjunctive mood, which is sometimes seen as a verb form, and it does have some form and formula that comes along with it, but it technically is a mood. So the indicative mood in Spanish would indicate an observation. We don't have school on Monday. Whereas the subjunctive would make a statement about that observation. It's great that we don't have school on Monday, or it's too bad that we don't have school on Monday. The subjunctive also differs from the imperative because the imperative commands people to do things. Study for the exam on Wednesday versus the subjunctive saying something in a lighter form, recommending. Hey, it's advisable that you guys study for the exam on Wednesday. And then finally, another thing that we talk about often in Spanish 4 is the use of the subjunctive to indicate uncertainty or to introduce doubt into something, to contradict truth. So I doubt that we have a pep rally in the big gym today. In Spanish, that would trigger the present subjunctive. So all of those things would be taught in any given lesson. And so my 4 teaching strategies that I chose to teach the present subjunctive for instructor-centered, I chose teacher demonstration because there's a lot of evidence in foreign language teaching that comprehensible input that's teacher-centered is actually really helpful there at the beginning. You want a lot of comprehensible input, so teacher demonstration is actually a pretty good strategy for students in foreign language study. For interactive, I chose group project because with 21st century learning skills, it's really good to have that collaborative working and learning. For the individualized instruction, I chose module-based instruction because recent studies show that it's really good and has been proven effective for students to be able to have their content enriched or differentiated, and then they can also self-pace. So that's why I chose that. And I'm sorry I forgot to scroll through while I was doing that. And finally, for experiential, I chose role play and specifically conversational role play. And that's really good, obviously, with foreign language study because it allows you to assess or gauge their comprehensibility. And then it's good for students because it makes them access those higher order thinking skills. Okay, so I didn't face really any struggles with this activity per se. I still faced a little bit of struggle with those ABCD objectives because I still was getting pretty wordy with them and had to go back and learn how to trim those down. I loved this assignment overall, so in terms of takeaways, my takeaways was that I'll be using this template often when planning. Obviously, COVID-19 has had and continues to have a huge impact on learning in 2020 and beyond. I think modular learning is really good and will continue to be good for us for teaching and learning because it will allow us to differentiate, to enrich, and to self-pace to a certain extent. And then finally, what kind of problem would I have online versus face-to-face with this particular subject? And that's present subjunctive. For me, with present subjunctive, it would be the wide variety of vocab possibilities because present subjunctive tends to be used, for recommendations or advice because you're using it to recommend or give advice for any certain amount of things. Sky's the limit. And you can rein that in the classroom a lot of times. But when you differentiate or enrich in an online modality, it would be a lot harder to keep students tied down to one vocab topic. So I could see that sort of getting out of hand where students would get lost in the weeds of um, getting off into vocab that they didn't know, and then I'd find myself managing that more than the topic of the present subjunctive. Thank you.